If you have commercial property and you just signed a 5-year lease or a 10-year lease, what's the chances that you're going to get the rent over those 5 years or 10 years? What's the chances that the tenant's going to stick around, not close up in year 2 or 3, and then you're stuck with an empty space earlier than you thought? And that's the idea of durability of income. When you're owning and operating commercial real estate, the value of your real estate is in the income that it generates. And the income is a derivative of the leases that you signed. And the strength of that lease is really correlated to how likely that tenant is going to be around for those next 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. And that's the idea of durability of income. If you are able to create a tenant mix in your shopping center or your commercial property that every single one of those tenants are super strong, they belong there, their sales are great, they're doing really well, then you're going to convince investors, banks, buyers that, hey, this is a really strong asset and I'm going to really get the rent. And that's the reason why when you're buying a McDonald's or a Wawa single tenant deal, that the cap rates are so low, because a McDonald's just they don't close stores, or rarely 0.1% chance that they're going to close a store. So it's extremely high durability of income. And if you have a multi-tenant shopping center and you have an Office Depot, you probably have a low durability of income because there's a lot of skepticism whether or not they're going to be able to stay there for the next 5 to 10 years. Now, that's the idea. And also, now when you're talking about local mom and pop tenants, that's where it gets really nuanced. And then you have to figure out the story of that mom and pop tenant, who their customer is and how they make money, and then figure out, what's the chance that this tenant's going to be here for the next 5 to 10 years. When I'm talking to my leasing teams, I always want to make sure that they're considering the durability of income when deciding which tenant that they are trying to pursue. And a lot of that has to do with how does that use fit into the community that the property is located in? And then how does that use fit into the tenant mix that are adjacent to the property? So in any shopping center that we have, we may have 20 to 30 spaces. And most of the time they're mostly occupied. So there's already a tenant mix that's there. So does this new tenant complement that existing tenant mix? Or maybe the tenant mix that's there needs to be shifted. Perhaps we just bought the property and we said, hey, I think there's a way to reposition the property to a different tenant mix that better matches the customers that are living inside of that community, right? And you certainly can't discount the financial strength of the tenants, especially the mom and pops, but also the regionals and the nationals. How much cash do they have access to? What's their track record? What are their landlord references? What is their business plan? And I think that all of that plays a part in trying to figure out how to maximize the value of your property through the durability of income. I hope this was helpful. This is a little bit abstract. I'm going to try to dive a little bit deeper into this when I talk about cap rates, because that has a big impact on the cap rate discussion. Catch you later.